All right, welcome to the Tony Gomez Show. We're coming at you live this Sunday afternoon, and I believe it is the 27th, Dad?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, I just introduced him. I have the honor of having the GOAT, the greatest of all time. My dad is in the studio today. Oh, Dad, thank you so much for joining me. We just were able to celebrate your 80th birthday
That's correct.
a couple of weekends ago, and it was just the best time. That reminded me of your retirement party because we saw so many of the great friends back then.
Yes, that's my retirement party and so forth. I mean, it was a kind of a joint venture between myself and my best friend,
Yes.
Raul Tovar, known as Toby. for
Toby,
short.
yes.
Yes. So we had so many friends of ours there for our retirement that the people that actually run the operation of the building and so forth told us they had never, ever in the entire time it's been open, had ever been people. I mean, that many number of people inside this facility with that were busting the seams out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were even having problems with trying to get the fire department to go ahead and not stop the party because it would just
You hit capacity.
Yes, we were busting out at the seams.
That's great.
Law enforcement personnel from almost every branch of the service: Secret Service, FBI, DEA, ICE, U.S. Customs, Border Patrol. God Almighty, Sheriff's Department, umpteen number of police departments.
I don't think there's any branch out there that you guys didn't work with at one time or another throughout the career that you guys.
Yeah, we were real fortunate. I can honestly say that Toby and I had, or one of the only two people that have ever served in a specialized section for as long as we did, but became so successful at it that our reputation and names preceded us, even all the way to Austin and Houston.
Yeah,
people had heard about us and stuff like that. So that was a great moment.
Yes,
and even the night of the retirement, U.S. Customs made presentations of those awards to us.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Yeah, so that was overall. I think I've got like 10 or 12 plaques. At least that many from the different law enforcement organizations that we ended up working with. DEA, Border Patrol, FBI. Yeah, they all gave us awards.
That was an amazing night. So much camaraderie and friendship and brotherhood.
Oh yeah.
And so many of those guys, I remember going to their house to hang out.
Sure.
Throughout your history, you going over to Toby's house, going over to Albert's house, with the boys over there, his boys, and Toby's kids. I also want to say there's another gentleman. We would go over to their home very early in your career when you were still.
I think that would have been Lupe Flores.
Lupe, that's right.
We call him the old man. Yeah.
The old man, yes.
Yeah, old man Flores.
I remember. I think it might have been at Lupe's house, or it may have been my grandma through heels. But I got bit by a dog. You remember that moment? I got bit by the inside of my leg.
Yes.
And next thing you know, I'm going to the emergency room. But I don't remember if it was. I kind of feel like it might have been at Lupe's house.
I think it was at Lupe's house. To be honest with you, he had a tendency to have these mongrel dogs out there all the time.
Oh,
and that was one of those that decided to go ahead and take a chunk out of you.
Yep.
He was a character. I'll tell you what.
Yes.
His wife was the sweetest person in the world.
Yeah.
His daughters and his sons were the sweetest persons in the world.
They were, I know.
But he was the oldest of all of us. I mean, as a group.
That's why he got the title old man.
Yes. We called him the old man because all of us were in our early to late 20s, where Lupe was already at the end of the line. The cutoff date for getting employed by the city police department would have been 34.
All right.
And he was at 34 when we went to the academy.
Okay.
So he was teeter-tottering. Him and another guy by the name of Paul Rivera were teeter-tottering right in that 33, 34, age limit cutoff date. And, with the exception of the picture that I've got about all of us graduating from the police academy, myself, Albert L., and I want to say one other gentleman, friend of ours, are the only three people of the class of 14 that are still alive. Everybody's on, gone off to the happy hunting grounds.
Wow.
Yeah,
God bless them.
Yeah, they've all, for the most part, moved to other parts of the country, and we're working with other departments and stuff. But illness, pretty much stuck out. Don't know of anyone of them ever killed in the line of duty. Some were injured, but for the most part, illnesses, diabetes, cancer. Yeah, smoking was a big thing. That, and of course, the drug of choice for law enforcement then, and probably still is, I suspect, is alcohol.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to, everybody likes to get off duty and have a toddy.
Yes.
Whether it's a beer, or then it was called a choir practice where everybody got together.
Choir practice.
Yeah, choir practice. You get off duty, all of us enjoyed and loved working graveyards, so we'd get off by the 10 to 6 shift.
Yeah.
And Albert Leal's uncle, actually, and his dad owned and operated a local joint down there on Baldwin Street, way down close to Airport Road, called Hi Ho.
I remember the Hi Ho.
Okay.
Yes.
That was the bar, and then on Baldwin. Yes, what was it? No, it was on Morgan.
Yeah, where they cross over at Baldwin and Morgan.
Exactly. And of course, you do have a Hi Ho restaurant still in there, almost close proximity. Still very active.
Old Faithful right there.
Yeah, very active today. And they had a bar just a little distance away from it. And that was theirs. And they would open it up when we got off at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Super cool.
Yeah. We'd spend there, playing the jukebox and playing pool.
Yeah. Y'all just got out of work.
Yeah, just got out of work. And then by the time everybody left there at noontime, everybody's a little tipsy. And so you went home, got some sleep before you had to come back and go on duty at 10 o'clock again. So it was an adventure.
I know what you mean. That's right.
And, I think you brought up about what it was like for me to grow up here in Corpus Christi.
Yeah, I wanted to start off by just kind of taking it back to the roots, Dad.
Yeah.
And I know we've got so much that I want to ask you, and about me, about your history, about Kelly and Corey, about Grandma and Grandpa, that I know we can't get all this in one session. So there will be more, all right? So make sure that you're tuning in, because the legacy is going to be going. It's going to be going good, even after we knock out a good session today.
Okay, so your grandpa and grandma actually met at a dance hall. There was a community dance that took place. Believe it or not, it was on Morgan Street, just past the X on the right-hand side. I was the first child. I was born in July the 14th, 1945.
1945.
My sister.
How long were they together before?
They'd been together for several years.
Yeah.
Prior to that.
Okay.
And so your granddad had actually been previously married before, and then he was divorced during the war years.
Okay.
One of the biggest things about my dad at the time was he was very patriotic. Okay, he was a master carpenter to begin with. He was actually born in Laredo, Texas. His father, Rafael Gomez, of whom I'm named after, was initially from, I want to think, Jalisco, Mexico. And this was during the Mexican Revolution in the late 1800s. That he married a lady of German and Irish descent in Mexico. You're gonna,
wow, I know.
Really. I remember seeing a picture of this lady, my great grandma, that my dad cherished for a very long time. It was later lost, but it was only I want to say a 3x2 or 3x3 photograph, black and white. The lady was stern looking, appeared very light complected in the picture. She was wearing what was customary then, with a black dress with a white collar and so forth, and a brooch.
Yes.
That you can tell the brooch was right here. I could tell, and she's stern. She had gray eyes, from what I understand. Okay.
Wow.
And she actually came over as part of the, I think it was the Mexican Revolution against the French at the time, and the Irish. There was a contingency of Irish soldiers that came over and fought on the Mexican side of the revolution against the French.
Wow. Okay.
So she, in essence, came with her parents from Ireland.
Okay.
As part of that contingency of, there's a name for them. I don't recall exactly what that is. There is several books written about them, and there is a movie with the old actor Tom Berger in it.
Yes.
And I remember seeing it, and it depicts the Irish contingency, the group of Irish soldiers and so forth, and how they went about establishing that rapport with the Mexican revolutionaries.
Yeah.
And actually fought against the French.
Awesome.
That were, yeah. So, I mean, that was really something else to learn that she was part of that. I mean, wow, that's crazy. And I never got to meet her. She passed on from some, I want to say, yeah, it was one of the plagues. It could have been smallpox. It could have been
really,
yellow fever,
man.
but it was something associated with some sort of a sickness.
Okay.
That was going around in the later 1800s or early 1900s, something along there. Because your granddad was born in 1929, and November, I want to say November the 21st, 1929. So between his birth, your great-grandfather had already been married to this lady. I can't remember what her name was. She had a German surname. So I think she was German Irish because her last name was, the way he pronounced it was Schmidt.
Whoa.
You know, it's not the S-M-I-T-H. I think it's the S-C-H-M-I-T-H.
Okay.
Schmidt, the German version of this.
Yeah, I hear that German.
So she was German Irish, is what I understand. So yeah, your grandpa was very, if you were to see him, you would think that he was as dark as I am, yet he was as white as any white person you would ever hope to meet. I mean, he was very, very light complected, but he was sunburned in his arms and his face and neck that you never saw how white he was. Whenever he removed his shirt, that you would go, Jesus Christ, because he was so pale and white. So, yeah, great-granddad by then had married, I can't remember what her first name was, but her last name was Schmidt. Married her, she died. He married a second lady who, in essence, was your grandpa's. My dad's name was Andres Gomez. Your great-grandpa's name was Rafael Gomez, which is what my name is, Rafael Gomez. So I don't remember exactly how long that marriage lasted, but apparently she was your grandpa's stepmother at the time. And she was a very stern lady from what I was able to find out about her. Mm-hmm. I can't remember exactly what she looked like, but I do remember her having relatives in Laredo that we ended up meeting as I was a kid.
Okay.
And she was the lady I met. I only remember as Tia Matiana. That's what I remember of her.
Yeah.
Again, another stern lady, like most Hispanic ladies at the time. And Laredo wasn't, I thought that Corpus Christi was a little bit more advanced socially, infrastructure-wise, everything compared to the way Laredo was. Okay. I thought of Laredo being still too much a part of Mexico. Okay. Right. And your great-grandfather, he was a master carpenter. That's where my dad learned how to be a carpenter. Now, he was a very stern man as well. God almighty, I don't think he had any sense of humor at all.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, he didn't have very much sense of humor. He was very stern all the time. And that's what I remember. And, well, that lady passed away as well. Okay, I didn't get to know her very well. I remember the pictures, seeing her of the wedding and stuff. And my dad had told me that she was a very stern lady and so forth. So your
Yeah.
great grandfather married a third time.
Okay.
Okay, by this time, your great grandfather Rafael and my dad Andres had moved to Corpus Christi. They
Okay.
left Laredo after the lady's death and so forth and moved to Corpus Christi and continued to do carpentry work here. They were both, my dad was an up and coming carpenter. He could speak English, not as perfect as most people can, but
Hmm.
for being bilingual, he could carry his own pretty good. My great grandfather, your great grandfather, could not speak English. He never even tried. He didn't want to.
All right.
But so they were working here. They were this was, by then. I think they actually worked in building the stadium for Corpus Christi High School, which is now known as Roy Miller High School.
Yeah.
That's that concrete stadium that still
It's
exists
still
today.
there.
It's still there.
Bud
Yeah.
Stadium.
My dad remember telling me that he worked on them. He wheelbarrowed concrete
Oh, hell yeah.
onto building those steps and stuff and up and down and whatever. So this would have been like, oh yeah, early 40s. I think it was probably during World War II that was built, simply because the president then, FDR, was pushing for all these major projects to help the people retain their job. This was during the Depression, which started in 1929 and worked its way all the way almost till the latter part of the 1930s. And the government was initiating all these major infrastructure projects all over the country. That happened to be one of them. And your grandpa and your great grandpa both ended up working there, building that stadium.
Okay.
Okay, they built part of what is now Roy Mill High School, the old structure. They built that as well. And because it was during the war, they themselves moved into working for the U.S. government, building all these military quarters for the officers training, the flight officers training that was taking place at NAS.
Okay.
Okay, so they were building these. They look like duplexes all over on the side side of town, and mostly along the middle area, which we call 6 Points now.
Right.
Yeah. There was a lot of apartment-looking, barracks-looking buildings actually that were all taken up by flight officers, officers going through flight training at NAS, and there was thousands of them. So they started building those during the early 40s as a carpenter. And it was during this time, mid 40s, I want to say 43, 44, that my dad met our president.
Okay.
Well, met Otilia. Her name was Otilia Mesa.
Mesa.
Yes,
That's right.
Mesa. My dad was in his early 20s, and she was in the late teens, if I recall correctly. 17 or 18 at the time that they first met at a dance.
Yeah.
Over there on Morgan Street. Now, the war was still going on. Your granddad, like I said, was a very patriotic man, in spite of everything. He had asthma.
Okay.
It's okay. So they marked him F4, unqualified for military service because of the illness.
Because of the asthma.
Yes.
Okay.
So he and 3 of his friends went in to join the Marine Corps back in 1941. No, 1942. 4 of them wanted to join the Marine Corps. 3 got accepted, and your granddad did not. He was classified 4F. And that really upset him to no end.
Yeah.
Because he really felt left out into this.
He wanted to go.
Yes, he wanted to go back.
He wanted to go.
That was his best friend that they were all going. They all joined.
Mm.
He wanted to join with them.
He wanted to be there with them.
Yes.
Together. That was the plan.
It was a plan. Apparently, according to what he told me, they had already gotten together and they had pretty much decided they wanted to go in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Okay. Navy was not something that we're interested in, but the Marine Corps. Now, I don't know exactly how that came about, but your granddad favored the Marine Corps above anything else.
Yeah.
Anything else. There was something about it. I think it only got stronger as his friends came on leave before they were shipped out overseas. Okay.
All right.
One of his friends was killed at Tarawa, in the Battle of Tarawa. The second friend was killed in Iwo Jima, and the third was killed in Okinawa.
Damn.
So all three of his best friends
Yeah.
were killed. Now, apparently, they were also had been wounded in between the interim of going back and forth there. And
Whoa. Okay.
it's
Yeah.
then they would come home in uniform and so forth.
Mhm.
So my dad, I mean, his admiration for these men only grew.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He tells me that they were mostly trying to discourage him because it wasn't the
It's
glory.
not all you think it is.
No, it's not all everything you could. It's cut out to be. It sucks
Yeah.
big time. The death and dying
I know.
was all over. So,
All over.
but that didn't seem to have a real significance.
He wanted to do his part.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
The bottom line. And so by the time he met my mother, he'd been through, he was known as, it was pretty much of a hard ass and a fighter because he had to deal with being told, why aren't you in the military? You know,
He always had that.
and that you're a coward and blah, 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 blah. So all it would do is just tee him off. And the next thing you know, he was a bruiser.
Mhm.
He got into lots of fights. In fact, I think that according to him, it was that night that he met Mom that somebody approached him about that or made a comment to that effect. And she thought he was the wrong kind of guy that she wanted to get involved with because, you know,
I don't want to get with the guy
that
start trouble.
He had a temper. I got to admit, he had a temper. And if you rocked it the wrong way, there was some old saying even back then. He said, you know, you jack with a baker and you get a bun. You jack with me, you don't get none. So I remember him used to say something to that effect, whether he picked it up from probably somebody of his friends from the Marine Corps, because I'd heard that before. And when I was in the Marine Corps. So he went on, got together with Mom, and they were married in 1944, somewhere in, I think, October. Yeah, it was either September, October of 1940. They were married, and I was born in July the 14th, 1945. I associate that with the actual discovery of the atomic bomb that took place on, I think it was July the 8th. They experimented and found out that it was a functioning weapon at the Trinity site.
Was that Oppenheimer guy?
Yes. In Alamogordo. So here it was. I was born a few days after they discovered the atomic bomb. And then I was born on the 14th, which would have been something like 20 some odd days before the actual bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. So I always related to, I was born before the bomb. And then, you know, the bomb was used X number of days after I was born. So it was that correlation that I was able to establish. And that's why I've read so many books associated with nuclear weapons and the development of the bomb. I've read Oppenheimer's books, some of his associates and stuff. And I read the conspiracy theories associated with how the information leaked of the atomic bomb to the Russians and so forth. So that was all those things were a real interest to me.
Big time,
as I was growing up. So at that point in time, the war ended and stuff. Dad by then was really apparently established as a carpenter. You know, he was well known.
Yes.
And well known. But at age I was 7, we had already moved twice. I was actually born on Coleman Street.
On Coleman, okay.
On Coleman, just
that's right in the 40.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Okay, in between Duncan and Harmon Street.
All right.
And Coleman on a shotgun apartment.
Okay.
Shotgun apartment. I was born there. And in fact, Mary was born at the same house the year later. We were there on Coleman Street. And I grew up there up to the age of 6.
All right.
And then we moved from Coleman Street onto Harmon Street, closer to Agnes.
Yeah.
Okay, we lived there, and it was, I want to say it was like the 200 block of Harmon Street off of Agnes. And we lived there again in another shotgun house as well. Keep in mind, the houses itself were just was an open concept. There was a living room that doubled as a bedroom, and then the kitchen, and that was it. Two big, large rooms, and that was
it.
Okay, and the outhouses were still outside.
Oh shit!
I mean,
all right.
really outside.
Yeah.
And the worst thing you could do is want to get an urge at midnight or whatever, and have to walk out there in the pitch black because it was dark.
Yeah.
There was no street lights. It was just the streets that didn't get paved. We moved there in 1950. I want to say 51. No, 52 because I was 6 years old, and we lived there till I was which would have been 6 at first, second, third, fourth, fifth, till I was about 11 years old. The problem there would have been that we lived on Harmon Street on the west side of Port Street.
Okay.
Everything on the east side of Port had to go to Lamar Elementary School.
Oh,
Over
right.
there on 19th
Okay.
Street, everything on the opposite side. On the west side of Harmon went to Zavala Elementary School, which was down there by Bruce Street,
Okay.
which was a little ways off. And Mom favored Lamar School.
Okay.
It was a new school that had been built in 1954.
Mm-hmm.
So it was brand new.
Yeah.
And she wanted me to start
Why'd you
there.
go there?
Yeah.
For sure.
I started there in 54. Started in 51, 52. No, I started there in 1952 at Lamar School, first grade. And what I recall the most about Lamar Elementary School is it was brand spanking new. The desk, everything was new inside the place.
Everything,
and
yes.
My very first teacher, first and second grade, was a lady by the last name of Garcia. I don't recall what her name was, but she was an attractive lady, carried herself well, but she was a strong believer in the English language.
Yes.
So she didn't favor too many of us speaking Spanish in the classroom.
Right.
Your grandma was exactly the same way. She did not want us to speak Spanish at home, wanted to speak English all the time because she didn't want us to have an accent. Whenever we grew up older, that we could go and apply for a job or whatever.
Okay.
So we'd be able to communicate on the same level, as she called it, as a white person.
Got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was very, very important to her.
And maybe that's why whenever I was there and Grandma's fixing up stuff up in the kitchen, why I would always hear the adults talking in Spanish, but when it came to me, it was always in English.
It was English.
Always in English.
Yes, her and Dad would communicate in Spanish.
Yeah.
But either one of them, and she emphasized that he was going to talk to us, he needed to go ahead and practice his English.
Yeah.
So it was English 24/7 for us. And then as remedial education was Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah, so, you had to learn, not to say a working Spanish.
Right.
That's what you needed to learn.
Right.
And that's where the expression Tex-Mex comes from, because we interject English and Spanish into one sentence. You can be talking to somebody and all of a sudden, oh yeah, get the bus home. Yeah, whoa. Instead of, hey, how's your day going? And, you blah, 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 blah. And then you all of a sudden you interject a small section or verse or words in Spanish.
Yeah.
That means exactly the same thing that you would have said if you said it in English.
Yes.
But you said it in Spanish.
Right.
So that's why we're known as Tex-Mex people.
Right.
For interjecting our English and Spanish together. Then we were on Harmon Street. Dad was still a major carpenter and stuff. And my first and second grade, by the time I got into second grade officially, Mrs. Garcia told me that, actually asked me, he said, do you know what Rafael, how that's pronounced or said in English? I still recall the conversation in second grade. I said, no. He said, Rafael is Ralph in English. From this point forward, you'll be known as Ralph.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where the Ralph comes from. That's
Okay.
why I've never been used to just recently using the name Rafael, because DPS was insistent that
Yeah.
my birth certificate says Rafael Gomez. It doesn't say Ralph Gomez.
You're right.
Okay.
Your ID?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
As well, right?
My driver's license has to say Rafael Gomez, which really screwed up my credit
Oh,
big time, big time because of that. But that's where the Ralph comes from.
Yeah.
And I never heard the term Rafael after that. Not even at home. Dad would mention it off and on, but
interesting. Yeah.
but Mom, never. It was always Ralph.
Yeah.
I told her, I said, hey, Miss Garcia said that, hey, from this point forward,
From this point forward.
yeah, that's going to be known as Ralph.
Grandma's like, okay.
Yes.
She's right.
She's right. And it stayed with me.
Yeah.
And that's why I never knew any difference of Rafael, even though I'd been told by your grandparents that you were named after your grandpa.
Yeah.
Rafael Gomez.
Yeah.
I'm Ralph,
Uh-huh.
not Rafael. And I had a few difficulties because of that, because I would tell people, no, my name is not Rafael, it's Ralph.
Right.
It's Ralph.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And that went on the entire time I was there in elementary school, which was a big thing for me, because I was in second grade when Mary, my sister, was in first grade. So we worked our way all the way up to fifth grade. Her in fourth grade and I was in fifth grade. And I ended up with a lady whose last name was Mrs. Emmert. Marian Emmert was my fifth grade teacher. And she, for lack of a better word, you can start it with the letter B, because she was a character, my friend. And she carried around a ruler all the time, that little 12-inch ruler, and would whack that tar out of you. And she could not stand people speaking Spanish either. So she would,
wow.
You said anything in Spanish in her room and you were going to get a whacking with that ruler. And then as we went along, I favored reading quite a bit, but I wasn't as sharp on math. Okay. And this lady would have a way of browbeating you, calling you stupid and stuff all the time.
Oh no. That
stayed with me for a very long time. That's why, I would tell everybody when I became an adult in the Marine Corps, says, you can call me anything you want. The old expression, sticks and stones can hurt my bones, but words can never hurt me. Yeah. But don't ever call me stupid. Yeah. Never call me stupid, because I'm going to be all over you like stink on doo-doo. Yeah. That's where I draw the line. Yes. This lady had such a negative impact on me that by the end of that school year, she told Mom that I didn't have the mental capacity to move on to sixth grade. Good God. And telling my mother that was like, oh, yes, almighty. She took this lady's word for Bible. No. She says, okay, so what do you suggest? I said, we keep him in fifth grade another year. Okay, all right. So it just so happens that at that point in time, and she's telling Mom this about not moving me to the fifth grade, I'm still sneaking back across Port Street, because I don't belong anymore. Okay? Right. So all these years I've been doing the same thing. And Lord, and as would have it, I'm walking down Margaret Street going towards Port when Miss Emmert comes driving up in her old Hudson car that she had. And she was looking for another friend of mine that lived right off of Margarita Street by the name of Eric Soto. And she came upon me and asked me, where are you going, Ralph? I said, well, she caught me flat-footed. I remember that. I said, well, the first thing out of my mouth, I should have known better, was I'm going home. And wrong way. Wrong way. She said, the address you give is down that way. Yeah. It's like 3 blocks in the opposite direction at the address that we have for you at Lamar School. And so she gets me in her car and so for now tell me, and grabs me by the arm and squeezes my arm real hard. And he said, I want you to tell me now. Man, go that way and make a right turn on Harmon, and I live right there.
Yeah.
She took me home, and Mom was there, and then she jumped all over Mom and blah blah blah. That we've been, been fooling the Corpus Christi Independent School.
Oh, shit.
So my 5th grade, they sent me to Zavala School.
Okay.
And then there, Zavala School was considered not as academically inclined to help the Hispanic population of that community. It was just, it was not one of your better schools and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I started to learn how not to do things and how not to do homework and vice versa and stuff like this. That Mom, on more than one occasion, had to go talk to the principals and teachers and stuff like this. And she made up her mind and demanded that your dad, my dad, demanded from him that we move into the Lamar Street district.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
okay.
Which was a matter of 3 blocks.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just 3 blocks. The block on the other side of Port and the 2 blocks on the east side of Port. So we moved to Blunzer Street. And that was a house that was run by a gentleman by the name of Juan Gaza Sr. And he was a car painter. He painted cars. So he had built this big garage behind this small shotgun house.
Yeah.
And had it all rigged out for painting cars. He sanded and painted cars on the weekends. He worked at it was called a Radmac at the time, which is now CCAT. Now, he worked at the Naval Base.
Okay,
so
yeah.
on the weekends, he spent them Friday nights, Saturday night, and Sundays, sanding and painting cars. Okay, so that was the understanding. We could rent the front house so long as we understood that he had to do his side jobs of painting cars in the back. And this was it was a large garage. It was large. It encompassed the entire half of the lot on the back and from left to right side. It was just big, and had air compressors and the whole smear for painting cars.
Yeah.
No big deal. I mean, it was there. He had everything. So we moved into that location and so forth. And I got back in 5th grade again and guess who I got again? Miss Emmert.
Oh, no.
I went back to the Wicked Witch of the East.
Did she rotate up with the next grade level?
Well,
is that how you stayed with her? She moved with the class?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
So good God almighty, man. I ended up with her again. But this time, I took it to heart. I had tutoring and so forth. That lady, Miss Garcia, kind of took me under the wing when I approached her and told her that Mrs. Emmert was browbeating the heck out of me. She was known as being somewhat of a bigot.
Yeah.
Short of calling somebody a racist. Mm-hmm. She was. She didn't care much for the Hispanic kids she had to teach and whatever white kids or black kids were in the classroom. They got most of her attention.
Yeah.
The rest didn't. So she said, okay, after school, we'll meet. You come to my room, which was the buildings were built in an L shape. So almost there was a building on the 19th Street side, there was a building on the Moore Street side, and there was a building on the 20th Street side. So there was 3 big major buildings that were all made of classrooms.
Yes.
And of course, then you had what they call homemaking for girls.
Okay.
You had it in 6th grade, and you had shop for boys in 6th grade as part of your curriculum. And they would teach you how to build things and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They thought I was gonna be a natural simply because my dad was a carpenter, and the instructor knew my dad personally.
Okay.
Because my dad, through one of the companies that he worked with, actually built his house.
Oh wow! Okay.
And this particular instructor his last name was Jesus G. Romo.
Wow.
R-O-M-O.
Uh-huh.
He built the first brick house at the intersection of Tarleton and the freeway.
No shit.
And it's there. It's a brick, pink brick and white house.
And it's still standing.
It's still standing with a wrought iron fence all the way around it.
Wow.
I mean, really, this is the 50s, and this man is building a brick home.
Yeah.
In this, neighborhood that was not the best neighborhood in the world. And he designed it. Mr. Romer designed the house. He did the blueprints, did the entire layout. He was not only a teacher, he was also an architect by trade. So he designed his own home.
Wow.
And my old man and his crew, my old man then was a supervisor, a carpenter working for Jesse Benavides as a contractor. And they built this house. In fact, it's wrought iron. It's a brick fence all the way around it. And it had wrought iron spikes sticking off the top part.
Okay.
To make it hard for you to jump over.
Right.
That's what really stood out for me was, ooh, man, anytime you want to jump over this fence,
not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Because then real popular, then you used to find concrete. We worked on some of those with my dad. The concrete fences were pretty much made out of broken glass over the top. So to keep people from jumping over them.
Okay.
So yeah, it was broken Coke bottles.
Oh, damn.
It was stuck in the concrete on the top. So
there
was a lot of that.
By design, yeah.
By design,
yeah.
I'm telling you. And this man had designed his home with the spikes.
Whoa.
But it was then I thought it was a real beautiful home. Pink brick and white brick, combination of beautiful big windows and stuff. And I only went there once with my dad, and that was the house was not completed then. They call it a dry-in.
Okay.
That means the entire outside of the house is done. All you're going to do is finish the inside of the house with the dry walls and everything else that goes with it.
So that's called drying.
It's called a dry-in.
At that point.
Yes. So I got to see it, the inside, but it wasn't completed. And I said, Jesus Christ, compared to our shotgun house, this was a 4-bedroom home. And a big kitchen, dining areas, all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's going. And
moving on up, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And talk my dad pointed out you can have this. Yeah. All it takes is money.
Yes.
And the only way to get there is to get your education, get a job, work your butt off.
Work your butt off.
And you'll end up having something like this.
Yeah.
But that was the extent of our conversation as far as that was concerned. And because he instilled a great work ethic on us. That includes myself, your Uncle Andy, and Roland, and even Becky. Mary G was always kind of like not the brightest light bulb in the world, but she was on hard times a lot.
Yeah.
But the rest of us have all done really good for ourselves.
Yes.
We've done really good. So you had us living on Blunter Street. You had the guy with the paint shop there. I passed 6th grade, believe it or not, with an A under Mrs. Zimmert.
Yeah.
And that's because of the tutoring that Miss Garcia gave me.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was not to tell anybody except for my folks that I was going to get tutored.
Okay.
She didn't want to step on Mrs. Zimmert's toes because she didn't like him to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
She never told me Miss Zimmert was a bigot or a racist stuff. It was just the way she communicated that Mrs. Zimmert was not forthcoming when it came to Hispanics.
You're right.
She called us Hispanics at the time, Miss Garcia did. Didn't call us. No, she called us Mexican Americans.
Yeah. Instead of calling you kids.
Yeah, that Hispanic comes later. But yes, she says she doesn't like Mexican Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Or then the term colored
okay.
was acceptable. It wasn't black.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. The term Negro was used, but for the most part, it was always colored.
Right.
Colored people, colored kids, whatever. And there was, in the entire school, there was only 2 colored kids. One was Roy Powell, and the other one was his sister, Mary Ann Powell. Okay. 2 kids in the entire elementary school of Lamar, and there was, almost 400 students.
Wow. Okay.
So predominantly all Hispanic,
mm-hmm.
with maybe 3% white.
Okay.
And that was then, it was a common term of referring to the whites then as white trash or trailer trash.
Back in the day.
That nature, to identify them as, not the best people in the world.
But
even though they were white.
Yeah.
Yet one of my best friends was a white kid there, and a Hispanic kid, and Roy Paul.
Yeah.
So the three guys was Hispanic, black. That's the only guys I hung around with, especially in my last year at Lamar School, and graduated. Went into Northside Junior High.
Northside Junior High.
Yeah, it's not existent
anymore. It doesn't exist anymore.
If you're familiar where Taroncoa and Tonkoa streets are at, okay. Do you know where
the one ways?
Yes. Do you know where Lori works?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the school administration building.
Yeah.
Before it was a school administration, it was a Lichtenstein's department store.
I remember Lichtenstein's.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And right behind Lichtenstein's was Northside Junior High, right directly behind it.
So is that where City Hall's at?
No. That's a different area. I'll show you. I'll explain that in just a minute.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. This right there where Lichtenstein was at the corner of Tonkoa and Leopard. That's Lichtenstein's. And it went from, Lichtenstein was a big department store. It went from Tonkoa almost all the way to Karankawa. It was that big. It was a big department store.
Big ass store, right?
Yeah. It was big. Right directly behind it was Northside.
Okay.
Yeah. Northside, the main office faced Tonkoa Street.
All right.
And then the back part of it, which was the schoolyard and stuff, faced Karankawa.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, mind you, there was no, your physical education classes. You had to walk 2 blocks further down to where the library is right now.
No kidding.
On Comanche
Okay.
Street?
Yeah.
Okay. That entire area right there where Comanche Street, where the library's at, and the field right in front of it between the courthouse and the library is a big field and parking areas now.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where the physical education for Northside was at.
All right.
That's where the boys and girls had to walk during your PE to go all the way down there. And there was one big old dilapidated building where you change clothes to put on your shorts and tennis shoes and stuff to go out and run on the dirt because there was no grass. So, it was at the Northside. So I decided I was going to join a band.
Okay.
So I went through the process of the selection process and I became a trumpet player.
Oh, good. So, yes.
Yeah. So I think that's probably where your grandmother would say that you get your music ability from, because once you like music, Dad was a hellacious dancer. I can tell you that because your grandma would always say, "This man knew how to dance."
Yeah.
And
he swept off her feet.
Ooh, I'm telling you. Yeah, he whipped her around like that. Only one time that I was your great granddad, before he married his fourth wife, was babysitting us, and he walked us all the way down to Morgan Street behind the dance hall, and we were sitting on the steps that go out of the dance hall, looking through the doors, and we saw Mom and Dad dance, and they were doing the polkas and boleros and everything else like that. And he was really a hotshot. Your great granddad was what you would consider a dresser.
All right.
Yes. Yeah. And the man,
he's sharp.
He would always wear gabardine slacks, gabardine shirts, which are a lot more expensive than your standard, khakis and shit like that. He wore expensive shoe leather. He liked quality shoes. He liked quality pants. He liked quality shirts. He was known for being a dresser and so forth. Yeah. Before we moved from Harmon to Blunser, that interim of those 3 years prior to us moving and so forth, I take it back. I was 6, 7, 8, and 9 before we moved over to your grandma was very insistent that my dad take me with him wherever he went.
Okay.
And he was a pool player. He was a hustler.
Yeah.
He knew how to play pool very, very good. Very, very good. And there was, as you walked away on Port Street from where we lived at, 3 blocks down on the right-hand side was Fred's Billiards. And it was a long, wide room, and it had three, 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 nine.
Nine tables.
Nine of the big, the ones with the green felt and stuff.
Yeah.
One table was always covered up. The one on the far end, that was the specialty table for the people that came in.
The VIPs.
The VIPs that gambled. And
Okay.
there was, believe it or not, there was a bunch of them. Yeah. And I would go, he would take me and he would sit me on the bar. Sit me on the stool, just like this round one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He said, you sit here. And then, of course, you got the waitresses, and there was a lot of attractive women that frequented the bars and stuff. And they always thought the old man was hot shit. Yeah. Because, I mean, they were, always swarming around him and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And he would ignore the shit out of him, man. I didn't understand why. How could they take such abuse?
Yeah.
This guy told him, hey, get away from him. I mean, just right up front.
Wow.
Hey, I'm busy.
Yeah.
Busy. I'm busy. Watch my son.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want nothing to happen to him. Okay. Little Ralphie sat there.
Yeah.
I drank Cokes and Pepsis and watched, because I was 2 tables away from the actual table. Old man Fred was the guy that wore garters. He always wore a white shirt with garters and stuff on it like that.
Yeah.
And wore a real dark colored blue or black slacks and a tie. I remember that. And he'd get over there and roll the felt up sheet, and you'd see this real immaculate green table.
Uh-huh.
And the old man had his own stick, but he never would take it with him, because it was the easiest way to give yourself away, as being
good.
A pool shark.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he would, and
you walk in with your own, and you're like, hey, this guy's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was. They knew him for being a pool player.
Yeah.
And man, his favorite was 9-ball.
Okay.
9-ball, yes. And he had a break, man, that would crack.
Yes.
When he slammed that thing. But then again, your grandpa was real muscular.
Mm-hmm.
He had fucking big muscles.
Yeah.
Big muscle. Like his neck and stuff was, like I said, it was all tan.
Uh-huh.
Just, I can keep it. Just like as dark as I am. His face was as dark as I am. His neck and his arm.
Yeah.
But he always wore long sleeve shirts. Always, even during the summer.
Yeah.
The most he ever did, man, he'd roll them up twice like that.
The most.
Yeah. I'd watch everything that he did, because everything had a purpose with him.
Everything.
Yeah, he'd walk in. Okay, this guy's gonna play. One name that I remember was Chico, a guy by the name of Chico, always dressed in black, with a silver belt and patent leather shoes.
Yeah.
And he would come in and he had a case with a pool stick in it, and his name stenciled across the case.
Oh, shit.
Chico.
Yeah.
But he was a real handsome guy with a pencil mustache. Your grandpa.
Clark Gable kind of guy.
Yes. Your grandpa had a mustache, a pencil. Yes. He wore a mustache. He's clean shaven, had jet black hair, and it was the wavy type, where the wave was dead. Whenever he took a shower and he went like this, it was nothing but curls.
Yeah.
Nothing but curls. And the rest of the time, he just combed it back like that. And he was a good-looking man.
Yeah.
Especially when he was younger. As he got older, more sun-baked. Yeah, that took away from it. But I know when I was younger with him that I was going, I tell you what, the ladies were, always complimenting him and stuff. And he would tip them if they made sure that I was taken care of at the tip.
Okay.
He would walk over from the pool table after he won. And, are you okay? Yeah, I'm all right, Dad. I'm right, Dad. Are you hungry? Yeah. So they would send one of the waitresses out to get down to the local hot dog deal that was about 2 blocks further down to the hot dog stand.
Yeah.
They'd bring hot dogs back.
All right.
And he would buy hot dogs not only for me but for the waitresses as well, because he was making. They were paying $5. It was $5 a table and a 9-ball, and then there was spot balls as well at $20 a piece. And then this is the 50s. That's a lot of money. Yeah. I mean, it's still equivalent to $100 bills nowadays. So, Yeah, they'd spot the 9 ball only by itself, and then you'd call the pot, you'd call the pocket,
Right, where it's
and
going.
then, where it's going to go, and you hit it with a cue ball. If you didn't make it, that's it, bro. The next guy gets to shoot.
Yeah.
And whoever did it first
gets a 20.
Gets the 20 or gets $100.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, it was a lot of money. We only went there on Saturdays.
Okay.
It was either Friday nights or Saturday nights we went. Tila, a rato vengo. He would tell, Ma, a rato vengo. And pool is called billar in Spanish.
Okay.
We don't have billar. I'm going to go play pool. Because every time, I've never seen your granddad ever come home without any money.
Uh-huh.
And then he always, the whole one.
Give it to grandma.
Give it to grandma.
Yeah.
Gave her the whole one. I mean, here you go. Give it, hey, keep some for yourself, will you?
That's right, but.
And that'll fit into something I'm going to tell you in a little while. So it was, here, take the money. But he drank. He liked to drink beer.
Yeah.
And if I'm not wrong, I think it was Long Star, to be honest, on the hook. And Fridays and Saturdays, go play. They come back, stuff like this. I never saw my old man leave with any female for any period of time. But he played pool, and it was like a business to him.
Yeah.
He had to pay Fred to play in the
to play there.
Yeah. The house took 10%, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay. The house took a 10% cut.
Yeah. But then again, they furnished the beer and the setups. If you wanted to bring a beer,
in exchange,
bottle, they'd give you the setups and everything else. But they took 10% of whatever it is, because you didn't pick up the money from the table. The money was picked up by a guy that sat there all the time.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody else handles all the money.
Yeah.
All right.
The money's there, stay with him. I asked him, I said, why does that man take your money?
Yeah.
He said, no, that's the money that it's all tallied up at the end of the night on whether I play or whether somebody else plays.
Yeah.
But whatever I make there, he says, 10% goes to the house.
All right.
And that's when I understood then what 10%, man, with the house and all this other stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
and then Grandpa remember how much he'd be making. So he knows what that 10% was going to be and what his cut was.
He knew exactly.
Yeah.
That he was really good. Where I was not as good as numbers, this man was super good. Because keep in mind, he actually he's like your Uncle Roland. He can actually draw, as an architect, blueprints.
Nice.
From what he wants to build.
Right.
And even times he can tell you how the house is going to look without even looking at a blueprint.
Yeah.
Just by
he sees it in his head.
Yeah.
The vision
Just
of
by
it.
you telling him, well, this is what I'm going to want. This is what I'm going to want here. This and that. And he looks at the stuff like this, and he says, okay, well, this one is going to be 20 feet by 20 feet. This one's 15 by 12. That one's there. You're going to get a lot. We need to make sure that the plumber's going to do this and do that. Well, this is what your Uncle Roland can do now.
Yeah.
He can do that all here.
Yes.
He does it on computer. He does everything, all program is in the computer for everything associated with plumbing.
Right.
But he knows the programs already in his head. He's got them in his head already.
Yeah.
And that's just like your grandpa. The same thing. Andy's a good carpenter. I never wanted to be a carpenter. I didn't want to work in construction. Your grandma would push me on just like she did if I go into the bar. It's now that I'm an adult that I recognize that my problem with attention deficit syndrome.
Okay.
This is what I had. It runs in our family.
All right.
Bipolar runs in our family. Autism runs in our family. All of these things were coupled in there with one generation to the other, to the other, to the other.
Yeah.
Okay. So we see it in our family. The autism, we see the bipolarism, we see, what is it? Anxiety.
Yeah.
Okay. Attention
deficit. It's all
syndrome.
carried down, through the genes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We see it in our family members. They all have some of these certain,
right.
I guess for the most part, most people would call them ailments. I just call them issues.
Sure.
It's easy to identify.
We got to deal with them.
Yes, exactly. So I was a kid that wouldn't settle down. I was easily distracted, and that was the biggest thing in school. Okay. I can get distracted so easy by something else I'm interested in doing.
Yeah.
I love playing music. I love being in a band. I really did. I went from last chair of 10 guys on trumpet to second chair in the first year I was there.
Damn.
Because I mean, I was always playing the. I love playing the horn.
Yeah.
It was good. It was exciting.
You get that satisfaction of it,
Yes,
getting better
I
at it,
did.
and read the music. And
Yes, I was doing all that stuff, and I was practicing at home all the time.
yeah.
So I kept beating, because I'd go in and say, "Hey, I want to challenge this guy," to the director. I say, "You want to challenge him?"
Sure.
Yes, sir. I want to challenge him. Okay. And you play the scales
Mhm.
and see how well you hit. You double tongue, do this, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could do it. Okay, you got the next year.
There you go. Just keep on moving.
A week, 2 weeks later, I come back and I want to challenge this guy again. Yeah, and it's somebody else. And I got all the way to, on the first year I was in band, I got all the way to second chair. Yes. I could not beat this first guy. This guy was good. He was good. He could make sounds.
Yeah.
Like a horse, you know,
wow.
the neighing songs with a horn. I mean, God, he was good.
He was
good, man. He was really good. Yeah, we competed, but I could not beat him. I just, I'd fall somewhere where I was double tonguing or triple tonguing. I just wouldn't get that last note out just the way I wanted it. And he did just like that. Okay. And he was an arrogant butthole too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the guy, we're in what, 7th grade already. He was every bit of almost 6 foot tall.
Really?
So, yes. And he showed it, and he, the girls all in the band were all in love with him and stuff. And but it took the second year that I was there that we ended up becoming friends.
Okay.
And basically,
yeah.
There was, back then, it was Era La 40, Navarro Place, La Howard, La Prescott Cruise, Armada Cruise, the Agnes Cruise, of which I was a member of.
They're like territories.
Yes, they were all territories. Agnes, all of Agnes and Blunts all the way to Ruth was ours, and all the way down to the 19th. And then from 19th out north or northeast was Navarro Projects. So that was the Navarro crew. And it was all about turf then. As I grew up and became a member of the Agnes Street crew, I was the youngest. Most of them were all a year or two older than I was. There was a Shamrock gas station that they built right next to our house there. So the Shamrock gas station was on the corner of Blunser and Agnes. And that's where everybody hung out.
Okay.
You had some of the guys that were working as service attendants that were part of the crew.
Okay.
Right? So people would drive up in their cars, park their cars are like this and stuff like that. And with the glass packs and be revving it up and stuff like that. Now, one thing that was really that stood out when I became a member, I think I got taken in by these guys simply because they were scared of my old man. I really do. I really do. I was accepted by him because they were scared of him. Because he got up and he'd walk into the, pick up something at the gas station, like buy soda pops for us or miscellaneous shit and stuff like this. And he's, everybody would step out of his way. They knew who he was, because he'd been a bruiser as a young man and a bruiser even as an older man.
Right.
By then, I think Dad was probably in his 30s. Yeah, I think it was late 50s. Yeah, would have been around. He would have been around in his 30s, going on his 30s then. Early 60s was his 30s, early 30s.
So the guys are like, he's like, hey, you don't want to mess with that guy.
Yeah,
and so I don't want no trouble, so let's be cool with the kid. All right? He's going to be good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's what it all amounted to. It really did because, this guy wore these skin tight goddamn white T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
And
you saw the muscles.
Yeah, and starched jeans that he wore. Mm-hmm. Starched khakis. He wore starched khakis. When he wasn't wearing the gabardine, he would wear starched khakis all the time. And he looked for the most part like he's going to be a bad hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wore real expensive leather fine shoes, not the pointed kind of stuff. I mean, classical shoes, and then the damn heavy starch khakis, and a white t-shirt.
So some of the kids even looked up to him like, man, I want to be like him. Like,
Yeah, he'd walk over there, you know. Before I became part of the crew and so forth, he'd be going over there and Mr. Gomez, I guess they go. Always Mr. Gomez. I never heard him, any of the crew call him Ralph or Andres or Andy. Mm-hmm. Never, ever. He was known as Mr. Gomez.
Yeah.
Mr. Gomez. And, you know, he'd joke with him and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
And he'd come back. Then I started to hang out with him there. And I got hired by the old man that ran the gas station.
Okay.
Because he saw that these people had a lot of respect. These gang members had respect for my old man. And wouldn't fuck with me or fuck with the gas station.
Right.
Because the old man, had, you know, he put a stop to him. That some other gang showed up before I joined them, but I was there. Showed up, I think the Prescott crew, and showed up in 4 cars.
Oh, shit.
And there was about 10 or 12 of the street guys.
Yeah.
That were there. You know, they were just hanging out. And they came, a challenge. We're going to
rumble.
It was going to be a rumble. They challenged them. One of the guys from the street gang apparently had made a pass to one of the girlfriends. Of one of the
I knew it had to be a girl.
Yeah, you know, stupid.
That's
shit.
always starting shit.
So it was going to happen. It happened to be off on the side. I was on the sidelines. I guess you could call it almost the shadows and so forth. When these all guys, they all get out of their fucking cars and everybody gets up. And these guys are picking up tire irons and they got baseball bats, golf clubs.
Yeah.
Guys are getting off of golf clubs and stuff. And the 2 guys then, who was Frank Gonzalez, was the leader of the gang. He was the oldest. And his 2 brothers were then the lieutenants of the gang. And then it went on down with, you know, kind of like the enforcers and the guys that did all the stealing and shit. And the ones that were selling all the stuff. And, you know, a hierarchy. It was all structured. It wasn't like you see in movies about some street gangs that aren't worth the shit. No, these were more like that my deal with the Hells Angels, where it's structured.
Yeah, everybody's got their roles to play, and like you said, the hierarchy.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's all about money. Yeah. You know,
and you gain your power as you keep working your way up the ranks.
Yep.
And you usually got to do some bad shit to go up the ranks.
They would do some silly ass shit, and right there, the challenge took place, and the guy said, "No, I don't remember what it was." Old man Des Moines yells over the fence, the hurricane fence that separated the gas station from our house. He Gomez, he's calling him old man. This was around between 6 and 7 in the evening. Summer months when the sun is still out.
Yeah.
So daylight. And Gomez. That's why I tell you that I was in the shadows, because when he called him out, we were having dinner. So when my old man got up and so forth, and he jumped the hurricane fence. It wasn't only 4 foot high. He just, you know, jumped.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up? I jumped the fence too, and I get off like I want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
And you know, what I could pick up from was old man D1 telling the old man that these guys were going to have a goddamn rumble there, and the whole shit was going to go to hell.
At my place.
At my place, exactly. This is my gas station, and it's a franchise, so hey, I'm going to lose my business, and you know,
shit. Yeah.
Right?
Help me put this shit to an end.
Yeah, the old man was about almost, I think it was about your height, son, about your height, you know, and he just walked right in the middle of these goddamn squirrels. You know, he's standing there and he puts his hands on his waist like that, and he tells them all. He's talking in Spanish. What I recall was, you know, there isn't any shit gonna take place here, none whatsoever. All these stupid son of bitches, you want to have it out? Go down to the park. Go down to the park. Kill yourselves over there, but you're not going to do it here. And if you start any shit, I'm going to start breaking fucking heads. And that's what he told him. Yeah. And he turned around and told the same thing to the street guys.
Yeah.
Frank, you know, he was a bruiser. Yeah. He goes,
they thought it over for a second.
It's over.
Yeah.
You want to go kick these motherfuckers out? Go down to the park. Take everybody with you. Take anything you need out there. We don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it here, and you're not going to do it next to my house.
Yeah.
You know, because it's
come on, man. This shit's going to bleed over. Yeah. That's right.
We're right there. You know, right there. Here's the house. You know, everybody's looking through the window. You know,
Already?
Mom and Mary J.
You hear all these cars come up.
You know, what
Yes.
the hell? And little Andy's still, you know, the Rugrat. Everybody's looking. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Because the first thing out of Mom's mouth when he heard Limón said, no es para allá. Don't go
Don't
over
go
there.
over there.
Don't go over there. Don't
Yeah.
go over there. And she said, ahorita vengo. He just jumped right over the fence, man. Just
Yeah.
so I was watching. And everybody just standing there looking at him and so forth. And two of the guys from the other Prescott deal were the sons of one of the guys that were on his crew, workers. Because he recognized me, he pointed out, yeah, you're such and such, you're such and such. Your old dad worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
You want to take this any further than that?
It's on you.
Said, no.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody just turned around, got in the cars and so forth.
Thank goodness, right? Oh, yeah.
And they all pull out. And the last word I got was that they were going down the park over there by the Buccaneer Drive-In and in the Cuarentas area.
Yeah.
They would want to go over there because they're from Prescott and Horn, dude.
Yeah.
They came all the way over here, you know, and then they were going to meet like a neutral spot. How can it be neutral if you got the Cuarenta guys? Well,
right.
The Agner Street guys, you know, there was a payphone right there. They went and called the guys over there from the Cuarenta and so forth. And so all the guys from the Cuarenta and the Agner Street crews went over there to rumble with the guys from Prescott. And I wanted to go.
Yeah, I want to see how.
Oh man, hey, man,
let's see how this finishes up.
Yeah, I wanted to make my bones, you know.
Right.
Hey, I want to go. And there was a guy by the name of Viterio Rodriguez. I remember. He was kind of about as tall as you was, but he was a real skinny, wiry guy. Pachuco.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one, the kind of guy who had the shoes with a 3/4 sole on the bottom, and the shoes were pointed up like that.
Oh yeah.
And then he had the 1/4 inch heel on the back, so he looked like a boat on his shoes.
Yeah.
So I could kick better. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And hey, you could eat it. Digo, no, porque después dice, no, porque si tu jefe se da cuenta que estuviste con nosotros y te pasa algo, no va a chingar a nosotros. So, which meant, you know, hey, if your old man finds out that you go with us and you get fucked up over there, your old man's going to come back and fuck over us big time.
Yeah.
No, my old man's not going to say shit.
I know you're saying that, right? Yeah, take me.
My old man's not going to say shit. Yeah. And he says, go down to the corner, wait for us there. And they picked me up from the corner.
Okay.
But I couldn't get up out of the car.
Yeah.
They told me, no, you don't get off of the fucking car.
Yeah.
So I was, yeah.
They knew how bad it could get, and they knew your dad. They didn't want that to come back on them.
They did not want the old man to come back on you.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it happen several times before, and he put a stop to shit that was getting out of hand.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm in a car, man. I'm watching, and people are just wailing the living daylights out of each other.
Oh, shit.
You know, with sticks and bats and golf clubs.
Yeah.
Man, crackheads. One guy had his whole ear ripped off. It was just dangling by the bottom, bottom of the ear. The whole top part was just, they hit it sideways like that, and it chopped it off all the way, and it was just dangling down it.
Yeah.
I mean, gross. Broken teeth. You know, guys were laying all over. And it lasts 2 or 3 minutes.
And that's all it took.
That's all it took.
Oh, shit.
And by then, you know, because the guys from Prescott were not anticipating that the Cuarenta was going to back up.
Right.
You know, the Agner Street crew.
Yeah.
They let the Agner Street crew show up, and as soon as they started, then they come pouring out of the goddamn woodwork.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. They come running out from the sides like this, and they just beat the living pulp, and then everybody's running back towards the cars because you could hear the sirens.
Yeah.
You could hear the sirens, and everybody
coming to try and get the hell out.
People, I was looking out there, people laying all over the goddamn park.
Oh, no.
And they were screwed up big time.
Yeah.
And of course, everybody, then there was no high fines. Everybody just yelling and screaming. And everybody bails into the car. People are bleeding and stuff. Broken teeth.
Oh, shit.
And we drive over to La Armada projects, and the girls come out and they start patching everybody up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I just hanging loose, just
watching
what's going on like a little goddamn gopher. So So yeah,
Yes.
that was the kind. The old man he had a reputation, and I've seen him.
Yep.
Some, it was not beyond him, because you always carried a claw hammer inside the truck.
Oh no.
Yeah, he carried a regular claw hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he carried one.
Hold that thought 1 second, Dad. Hold on right there.